a lot of times, if somebody's been in this industry for say 15 years and they're a hard worker, we ask ourselves the question, okay, so what is the reason that person keeps hitting their head on the
Yeah.
ceiling? A lot of times it's not their skill set and it's not their effort. It's the fact that they actually can't see or imagine things being bigger or better specifically for them. Welcome, real estate agents. Read more here. This is the RMG Agent Podcast. And I'm really excited that you chose to join us today. We're going to talk about some exciting things. My hope for this podcast and for this episode is that this makes an impact in your life. The things that we have to say today just really empower you in your real estate career, and ultimately that you're encouraged. You're encouraged to go do the work, to go build the big life, the big business that is in your imagination. Today, we're talking about the fact that you only get three things when it comes to building a great business, and it's going to just be phenomenal. And I want to introduce my co-host, Jake Bartlett, to you. Jake, thanks for joining us.
Hey everyone. Yeah, I'm super excited to be here. I'm really passionate about these three topics. I think they're very important in your real estate career. They're really important within your family. And they show up in all different areas. When you look at athletes, they transition from either being a good, great to the greatest, depending on their mastery and their ability to move within these three areas. Throughout their career and in the right time and the right one that's needed. So whether you're looking to level up your career, you're stuck in a rut, you need to figure out how to get moving again within your real estate career, these three are going to be the levers and the only levers that you have to pull. And so we're going to talk through each one of them. We're going to give you options, and the way you're going to move forward is to focus on the right one during this season of your life. And we're going to go ahead and talk about those.
Yeah, so jumping right in, the three things that we have when it comes to building our business is we have mindset, we have effort, and we have skill set. And I used to teach it as mindset, skill set, and effort, maybe because it just sounds better.
Mm-hmm.
But when we were talking about it, the reality is there's an order to these things. So tell me a little bit about that.
Mindset is going to be the foundation for the house, and that's going to be important, that you believe and know that you're capable, that you can do the work, and that there's enough work out there for you. And then the next thing is that you're going to have to go out there and do the work. You're going to have to do the lead generation. You're going to have to get in front of people. And the last one is going to come with the skill set. And the reason why we ordered it in that way, opposed to mindset, skill set, effort, we believe that effort comes before the skill set, because mastery comes at 10,000 hours is what we've been told, right? And so mastery of your skill set is going to come with doing the actual practicing of real estate. You can't master being a realtor by just mastering your listing presentation. You have to do the work of finding clients and getting in front of people so that you have the ability to learn as you go.
Yeah. One of the things that I think about when it comes to the idea of mindset is mindset can sound, it's just an easy thing to kind of check a box and move past that conversation. But mindset is foundational, and it's primary when it comes to anything that we set out to accomplish in life. Because inside of our mindset, if we are telling ourselves a story that we're not good enough, we can't, all of that stuff, it doesn't really matter what level of skill set or effort you put in, you end up self-sabotaging.
Right.
And so when we see people in this industry and they're trying to level up, a lot of times, if somebody's been in this industry for say 15 years and they're a hard worker, we ask ourselves the question, okay, so what is the reason that person keeps hitting their head on the ceiling? A lot of times it's not their skill set and it's not their effort. It's the fact that they actually can't see or imagine things being bigger or better specifically for them.
Yeah, we see this a lot with our kids, right?
Sure.
Your kids, as they grow up and they try new things, they want to give up because they don't have the right mindset that they can get past this. And we as adults believe that, we don't fall into those same traps when we learn new things or we work through problems, but we really do. You have to have the right mindset to get past those. And we teach our kids, but sometimes we fail to teach ourselves.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So when we start out in this industry, or we're leveling up, or we just realize, wait a second, I'm pretty full of myself because I've been doing this for 5 years. I really know my way around, and all of a sudden we realize, something happened, something changed.
Yeah.
That can really crush somebody's confidence,
Hmm.
and that can cause them to question their mindset. So even when we build our mindset is something that we don't necessarily build and then it just stays there. It can be challenged, it can be fractured.
Hmm.
And if we do that, it really is like the foundation of a house. If you crack the foundation,
Hmm.
the whole house is really, really compromised.
Yeah. Yeah. So I think of this as mindset of like the first time you lose a client
Mm,
or a close friend uses a different agent, like that's a crushing thing. But if you look for the right mindset, and that one would be there's more than enough business out there for me,
right.
right? Like if I truly believe there's more than enough business out there, I lose one client, yes, it sucks. But that mindset pushes me forward into finding more clients because I believe there are more than enough out there.
Yeah, absolutely. So we take our and we work on our mindset, and we ask ourselves the question, what do I believe is possible for me?
Mhm.
And then I go down this road of really kind of solidifying that,
Mhm.
because what happens is, maybe we all have multiple personality syndrome. I don't know about you, but I have multiple voices in my head,
Yeah.
so I should maybe get that checked.
Yeah.
Right? I have the voice that says, like, no, you can do it, and I have the voice that says you don't deserve it, and I
Mhm.
have the other voice that says, who do you think you are? And so you're dealing with all of this stuff inside of your mind. And the reality is, the rest of the outside world, it's not really relevant to the outside world, what's happening inside of your mind. It just has
Mhm.
to do with the way that you see the world and everything. And so we see this all the time, right? Inside of our company, we'll have two people with fundamentally different mindsets.
Yeah.
One person sees maybe like a lead source, and they're like, it's a gold mine.
Mhm.
All I can do is make money from this lead source, right?
Mhm.
And see another person, and their mindset is, that lead source doesn't work. That lead source does not produce anything for me. And then you watch them, you say, gosh, both these people actually have similar skills.
Mhm.
Both these people, they both work hard, and both of them have the same number of opportunities.
Mhm.
And then we go in and we dig around. We say the actual quality of those opportunities are pretty much same. So then we look at it, we say, what's the difference? And as crazy as it sounds, it's because one person told themselves a different story.
Yeah, I'm going to use the most perfect example for that is calling Fizbos or expires,
Sure.
right? Like there are some people that that's the only thing that they do to be able to be successful within real estate, and then there are some people that tell themselves, "I'll never do that."
Right.
Right? Like the difference is that mindset.
It is, and the thing that I always want to like kind of jump up and down and scream is like, I don't care if you do it or don't. What I care about is the fact that you've told yourself a story that you will
Hmm.
never.
Yeah.
That's really tough, because when somebody's staring down the barrel of a gun, like they are they're in a place where they're not going to make their mortgage, right?
Hmm.
They're not going to send their kids to the private school again because they can't. And then the next thing out of their mouth is, I won't.
Hmm.
Right? It's like, okay, maybe we can reframe that, because maybe there's a whole different way of thinking about that would cause you to be able to hit your goals and really advance in your career.
Yeah. People will put themselves through, months and months and years losing your house and having family issues over this. They'll put themselves through that over comfort of 2 hours a day of something uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and that mindset is so powerful. So being able to pick the right mindset for yourself daily on the activities that you need to do, and moving forward is the foundation for your real estate
Yeah.
career.
Well, it makes me think about what the difference between a professional and amateur is, right?
Hmm.
So there's a couple different definitions. One is, a professional does all the time what amateurs do occasionally,
Hmm.
right? The other thing is, maybe this is more of an issue of maturity, but when we're in a season of our life where we do things because we feel like it,
Hmm.
that's a sign of immaturity.
Mhm.
And that's a sign of personal immaturity. It's also a sign of immaturity in our business. And so there are things in our business that we don't feel like we want to do. And and if we take a step back and we ask ourselves the question, okay, what is the fundamental mindset behind that? Sometimes we find that the mindset is that's really out of alignment with my skills and my gifts and my strengths and everything. And so yeah, okay,
Mhm.
maybe we don't go down that path. Sometimes it's in alignment with our skills, with our strengths, all of that, but it's also in alignment with our fears.
Mhm.
Then we have to ask ourselves the question, will I allow my mindset to be controlled by fear? And if the answer is yes, I have a whole, set of things I need to go work on.
Yeah, it brings me back to I was one of those people that was afraid of calling. I didn't know what I was going to say. I didn't know how it was going to work, and I told myself all of these stories. And then I learned more about myself. I learned about the skills that I'm good at. And I might not like it. It might not be, but I know that I can do it,
Right.
right? And I have the skills to be able to make the phone calls that I need to. And what I am really good at is talking to people in person.
Sure.
So when on the phone with them, my goal is to get an appointment and get in front of them, because I know that when I get in front of somebody, I'm going to be able to close them. And so I had to have my right mindset that I could get around my fear.
Sure.
I built the right skills,
Hmm.
and the in between that was I had to put in the effort,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and that takes us, right to that point of, we have mindset. And once we square with our mindset, now we go to effort. And by the
Mhm.
way, it's interesting because if we have to work on our mindset, we actually have to put the effort in to work on it.
Mhm.
Right. And so when I think about some of the darkest but most formative times in my business, it was
Mhm.
pure effort. And I understand the phrase "work smarter, not harder." I genuinely get that, and I
Mhm.
think in general, broad strokes, that is wise.
Mhm.
It's good wisdom to work at getting better at something. The challenge is that you can't always flip a switch on getting better.
Mhm.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes it's just, all I need is this widget or this
Mhm.
little skill. But if you're new or you've only been in the business for a few years, right? And you're finding yourself in a very different market situation, or you're leveling up and now all of a sudden the skill sets that you need to build
Mhm.
are vast. You have this one thing that's staring at you, and that is doing the work,
Mhm.
putting in the effort.
Yep. Yeah, I would say that every season of your real estate career creates that same issue, right? Like
Sure.
you've got, when we worked on hiring our first employee, right? Like we had to build new skill sets. We had to put in effort to actually go find those people,
Sure.
and we had to have the right mindset of like we are realtors and we're business owners that now have employees that we are responsible for their family, which creates a whole new like
Sure.
mindset of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just one of those things where effort requires it requires nothing outside of you,
Hmm.
right? It's if I can just roll up my sleeves and go to work and work hard,
Hmm.
um, I can for a period of time outperform a lot of people.
Hmm.
And so that's the reason we have these three levers, is it's not just all effort, because there is going to be a day where all of a sudden you say, hey, I don't want to put this level of effort in anymore, and I do want to lean more on my skill set.
Yep.
And that's wonderful and that's great. But I think one of the things that I've seen over the last, maybe 9 months, is people who have had a great mindset, who have built a great skill set, and all of a sudden the mindset was maybe shocked a little bit by what happened in the market, and maybe the skill set no longer was fully, it wasn't able to carry the day when it came to their
Hmm.
goals. So now the answer is, you got to work harder. You have to
Hmm.
work longer hours, right? Like,
Yep.
roll up your sleeves. And man, that is it's not just tough to hear, but it's tough to hear after 20 years, 25, 30 years doing something, that you
Hmm.
got to go work harder again,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Yeah. That was a big, I remember that moment, a year ago. and having conversations with other people and realizing like it's game time again. Market's going to get hard, been through shifts, and like it is an effort game.
Yeah.
Your effort will show up in the rewards that you get in the end.
Yeah, and then of course that just takes us right back to mindset.
Yeah.
Right. If I have that moment in
Mhm.
time where I have to make peace with a certain level of effort that's going to be required of me, now I have to go back to my mindset and say,
Yeah.
okay, what am I here to do? What's the goal? Where am I going? What's the mission? And here we go.
Yep.
Yeah. So talk to me about skill set, right? So if you don't have a lot of skills, you can balance everything out through effort, and that's not ideal.
Yeah. So there is a level of building skills as you go. The skills do come from a mindset as well of being learning based,
Hmm.
right? Like if you're continually learning and mistakes are learning opportunities for you, your skill set grows, and the effort that you put in to get in front of more and more people creates more opportunities to learn your skill set. And there was a shock that happened to my skill set, and maybe not my skill set, but it was first time I saw a short sale class this last year.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
I saw that come through and I was like, oh, there is going to be a
We're
lot of
back.
people that are going to have to learn that skill set because you probably done quite a few short sales. I did quite a few back 7-8 years
A long
ago,
time ago.
and that's a whole different animal.
Sure.
And so the skill set bucket is very important, and I think a lot of it comes from that mindset of being learning based.
Yeah, I love that. I remember, back uh, during the Great Recession, right? When
Mm-hmm.
07, 8, 9, there were agents, good friends of mine, that they built huge businesses uh, for one reason, and that was that they were the agent who was willing to go learn all these new things that really
Mm-hmm.
sucked,
Mm-hmm.
right? And other agents would literally hand them their business because they're
Mm-hmm.
just like, look, I don't want to learn how to do this thing. Like, here.
Yep.
And they built massive, massive businesses as a result of that. And so our skill sets, I think if we look at our skill set and we look at it through that lens of, in my life, is there ever a day where I wake up and I decide, you know what, I've learned enough, I don't want to learn anymore?
Mm-hmm.
That seems like a sad day.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, your skill set should be an overflowing toolbox that you're just continuing to put stuff in.
Yeah.
Right.
One of the things I've noticed about myself, and for the agents that are listening that are seasoned, they've been around for a while, is I think that the farther down the road of mastery you get, there is a temptation to practically become ignorance based again instead of learning
Mm-hmm.
based, because you have learned so much for so long that you have these periods of plateauing that are
Mm-hmm.
great. Like you're growing, 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 and you learn a skill set, and then all of a sudden you start mastering and doing the same thing over and over and over again. It's great.
Mm-hmm.
It's wonderful, right? It's not this constant effort
Mm-hmm.
anymore. But then you get to a point to where you start resting on that. And
Mm-hmm.
when you start resting on that, then you start to become ignorance based again, because now somebody challenges that assumption. Now there's a better way, or the industry's
Mm-hmm.
evolved, and it's really tempting to be like, I've learned enough.
Yeah. What if the agents 20 years ago, 25 years ago, didn't embrace computers?
Yeah,
Right.
absolutely.
Like the MLS went from a paper booklet that came out once a week to technology based, and you didn't embrace that. Like, we are experiencing technology changes, and if you're not willing to embrace and learn on that, like, you're going to be left behind.
Right, right. And we have these sayings that we have in our life that they're kind of insidious, because we don't nobody raises their hands and says, hey, I want to be ignorance based.
Right.
Right, like
Yeah.
that's not real life. Everybody wants to be, or probably even self-identifies as, learning based. But then we say things like, I'm not a technology guy.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, you might not be a coder,
Hmm.
but here's a tool that will help you accomplish your goals and not go broke.
Yeah. I would say either learn to find the right tools, or build a big enough business that you can hire somebody to
Right.
do that for you, right?
Yeah, and that's absolutely a choice, and then that's a whole other skill that you have to go
Right,
build.
exactly.
Right? Yeah.
I look at it as the skill. Another way to think of your skill set bucket is it parallels your database.
Mm.
Whenever you think your database is big enough that you can stop feeding it, you forgot about the fact that your database gets monopolized every single year. And 3-4 years from now, you're going to lose 30 to 35% of your database.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
your skill set bucket, if you don't continue to add skills into it, 30 to 35% over 3 or 4 years are going to be irrelevant skills.
Oh, wow. Yeah. That's a great way of looking at it.
Mm.
And I think some of this comes down to when it comes to our mindset, right?
Mhm.
Again, and really about our skill set is that this world keeps moving forward.
Mhm.
Everything is so dynamic, and relationships have always been dynamic,
Yeah.
but now the business world is maybe even just as dynamic as relationships.
Yeah.
And so there's a desire sometimes to I want to learn this, and then I want to be like, okay, cool, I learned it,
Mhm.
right? Like I want to go to college and I want to get a degree and I want to put it on the wall. It says I'm a master of something. That means that as of that day, you are on top of your game, and the next day you are behind
Mhm.
if you're not learning based,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So I think that's important. So let's talk about how does somebody choose what lever to pull, right? So we have these three levers: mindset, effort, and skill set when it comes to our business. If we're not getting where we want to go, I have to figure out what lever to pull.
Yeah, I would start with the mindset. Check the mindset. Is there any limiting beliefs that you have in that
Mm,
moment? Has things crept into your mind like there's too many real estate agents in the market? There's less deals happening this year. If any of those things show up, you need to fix the mindset
yeah, yeah.
that is keeping you from being successful in that market. I think the next thing would be effort. Has the number of hours that you are doing of the right activities, and by what that I mean is through lead generation activities,
Hmm.
is it matching your goals or matching your expectations for what you're going to sell?
Yeah.
And if that's not, if they don't match, then you need to up the effort.
Okay. So I want to break in there because that is like that's huge.
Yeah.
Uh, I want our audience to hear this. It's absolutely irrelevant whether you want to do something or not.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's relevant is, do you care about the goal? Do
Mm-hmm.
you care about the thing you set
Yeah.
out to do? So when somebody looks at it and it's like, hey, I don't make phone calls. That's not what I do.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's great. Are you hitting your goals? No. Okay, well, what's the plan? Well, it's to hit the goal.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what's the plan, right?
Yeah. The
Eh,
goal is a lag measure to the lead.
the goal is a lag measure, and if that goal really really matters to you, then what needs to happen to get there? It's harsh and it's cold and it's uncaring,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
If my conversion rate is 1%,
Mm-hmm.
that tells me I have to talk to a certain number of people,
Yeah.
regardless of if I want to or not.
Mm-hmm.
It simply doesn't matter,
Mm-hmm.
because if the goal is immovable, then my actions are the only things, my activities are the only things that I can't actually move.
Yeah. And once you get comfortable with that fact, and we talk about that in the next episode,
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
so once you get comfortable with that fact that lead generation is a numbers game,
Hmm.
and how big the goal is relevant to the activity that you do, and we can track that down to the number of dials that you need to do, or the number of people that need to be in your database, or the number of open houses that you do, the number of people that walk through, the number of classes. Like, there are options for you. We can break that down,
Hmm.
or you can break that down, and know that the activity, if you match the activity, it will show up in the goal.
That's right. Yeah,
Yep.
and that's again why we're just saying, look, your effort comes before skill set, and the reason is that I've seen people go broke with you know at least on paper a fantastic skill set.
Mm-hmm.
But if that skill set never gets put to use, one is that the skill itself is not that great if it doesn't, if you
Mm-hmm.
haven't learned it to some extent experientially, because this is a real estate is a trade. So a lot of what you're going to learn isn't on paper; it's through the experience
Yeah.
of doing it. The other thing is if you're terrible at open houses but you're doing them, and somebody else is phenomenal and they're not, you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if I if I gave somebody an open house every single day and they had no ability to do a buyer's presentation, they'd never looked at the buyer's contract or the buyer's rep,
Hmm.
they're going to sell houses.
Yeah.
Now, if you read the buyer's rep every single day and practice your buyer's presentation, but you never get in front of a client, you're never going to sell a house.
Yeah, I still remember my very first clients 21 years ago, Nate and Megan Williams,
Yeah.
still in relationship with them. And I remember I showed up to show them a house, and I had not even seen the contract. I had no I just graduated real estate, and my broker at the time had a list of people that he was too busy to call back on a scratch pad. And so I just called, and they said, "Yeah, we want to buy a house." I said, "Great." And they said, "We want to see this one." I said, "Great." And I figured out how to use the little key card. And they said, "We want to write it up." I said, "Great." And they were like, "Can we go to the office?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So I jumped in my car and I called my broker. I said, "Hey, are you available tonight? Because I need to write a contract." And that was how I sold my first house,
Yep.
right? All of the other stuff, should I have learned them before? I didn't really have time, but the answer could have been yes. Like, that would have been wonderful to know
Mhm.
that. But what I did do was go find somebody who needed real estate services.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
that was the thing. Yeah. Okay. So I think the question for everybody here is what is the lever that they need to pull right now to level up their real estate sales game?
Yeah, I think it goes back to the right order. Like, is the mindset matching what I need? Be realistic about the effort that you're doing, because a lot of people will say that they're working 50, 60 hours, and that's probably not realistic. Like, I
Hmm.
will be honest, I've been
Yeah.
that person before.
Oh, sure.
um and be realistic about the number of lead generation hours that you're doing. Do lead generation activities, and then continually level up your skills as you work with clients, and be learning based and take opportunities to work on those skills.
Yeah. Oh, and I think that if you have a goal, or you have something that you want to accomplish, whether that's making your first $1 million a year, or
Mhm.
your first 500,000, or your first 100,000, or paying your mortgage,
Mhm.
right? It could be anywhere on that spectrum. If I wake up in the morning and I fundamentally can't see or imagine myself doing it, I have a mindset issue,
Mhm.
right? And so now I'm going to talk to people that are going to be able to encourage me. I'm going to listen to podcasts like this. I'm going to get more skills. I'm going to go out and do the effort, but I have to fix my mind. I have to get things right between my ears.
Yep.
So I think that's if that's you can't see or visualize what's next. I think you have to go after mindset, right? If you look at effort, effort is the total amount of effort that you're putting in, and it's the effort on the right things. I've seen a lot of people get really, really frustrated and angry because other people don't think they're working hard. And and some people will flat out throw hours at stuff, but it's the wrong thing,
Mhm.
right? So if I am throwing hours and hours and hours at practicing golf so that I can go onto the basketball court and crush,
Right.
it doesn't translate,
Mhm.
right? So I need to say, am I putting in the effort, and am I doing the right things? A lot of times we're not doing the right things, and that comes down to fear and priority. Those are two things that get in our way. And I think the last thing is skill set, and that is if I have a great mindset, I'm putting in the effort. Skill set will help me do more with less,
Yep.
help me use my time more effectively, all of that.
Yeah, I think a good time to work on your skill set is when you're tracking your numbers, and if you are doing a bunch of contacts, you're setting a lot of appointments, but you're not signing a lot of contracts with buyer seller contracts,
Hmm.
and you're not pending a lot of homes. Like, that is a key indicator that there's a skill set problem,
Yes.
right?
Yep.
Like, those
Absolutely.
those numbers show up, and so that's probably another plug for tracking things,
Sure.
and knowing your numbers, because that is a good way to see where skill set gaps are.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that we want to, whether it's physical health, or emotional health, or
Hmm.
your business, if you want to grow it, you got to track it.
Right.
And that really shows you where you can ask yourself the question: is my skill set up to speed?
Yeah.
And it's just from tracking. So, okay. So what else? Like, what should our audience know as we wrap this up?
I would say the time to pick one of these and level up your business is this week.
Yeah,
Pick,
absolutely.
pick one of these that you're going to work on and you're going to focus on and level up your business. If you're not sure where to go or which one to do, you can reach out to me.
Mm-hmm.
You can go to, rmgagentpodcast.com. You can check out the action guide. You can contact me. I'll help walk you through it. I talk to agents all the time. I love helping people with these types of things. And I do think that today and this week is the time to work on it, because the market's still uncertain, right?
Yeah.
It's going to be hard. It's the time.
Yeah, I love that. The thing that I love about this is like this, it kind of goes back to success is simple, not easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's simple. You have 3 levers. You have to pull mindset, skill set, effort. Mindset, effort, skill set, right? Like those are the 3 levers you get. But to your point, you don't get any levers that work for you if you don't do it. You have to flip the switch. You've got to like go over, do something even if it's wrong, right? You're not going to get it's not going to be bad to work on your mindset.
Yeah.
But if you're frozen up right now, you're not flipping any of these levers, it's time to just flat out make a decision.
Yep. Yeah. Action is better than no action.
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Right on. Well, everybody, we really appreciate you being here. And thanks for being here along the way for episode 1. If you go to rmgagentpodcast.com, you can get our action guide. We're committed to your success, and we're going to be helping you along the way as you take these things and put it to use in your business. And we just want you to walk away from this, impacted and saying like, okay, I can go do that one thing, empowered because you have some clarity, and ultimately encouraged. If you can see it, if you can wrap your head around it, you can accomplish it in this industry.
Yeah, and I would parallel those things. I think that it's really important that that there are people out there that are encouraging you and want you to do better and be the best version of yourself that you can be.
Yeah, if things are hard, you're not alone, right? If you are leveling up and pushing hard because you have been winning and now it's time to level up, you're not alone, right? And it will come down to these things. So we're encouraging you to give us a thumbs up, subscribe, like, comment, give us great reviews. We appreciate that. And join us for our next episode. We're going to talk about 1 career, 2 jobs, and 3 buckets of money as the next level of being able to help you along the way of your real estate career.
Thanks, guys.
Take care. All right, everybody, there you have it. Another fantastic episode of the RMG Agent Podcast in the books, your go-to resource for everything real estate and all that comes with it. Don't miss out on more insights and resources at rmgagentpodcast.com. And as always, connect with us on social media. It's linked in the description below. And like, subscribe, and share if you found this information valuable. It helps us continue to contribute and keeps us thriving. This is Reed Moore, and I hope you've gained valuable insight and tips that will guide you along your journey as a real estate professional. And as always, I hope that you are impacted in a positive way, empowered with knowledge, and encouraged to go and do what it takes to reach your goals. Take care, everybody.